So we're having a stream of consciousness experience right now. And this is a discovery for my research. And it's, for me, it's like mind blowing for me. So, as you said, that is your point of view. And it's not wrong, it's not right. That is your POV. That's how you see it. And what I discovered, people always debate with me between like free will or everything is predetermined. What I have realized, which is really profound for me and other people that I share that with, these two categories, things are predetermined or we have a free will, is actually aligns with our subconscious and conscious mind. What I mean by that is, I believe I shared this with you before, over 20 years ago when I came across this book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. The first 7 years of our lives determines and decides more than 90% of our future. One of the reasons why you and I speak the language, because our environment help us to cultivate that. If you were born in like Africa or in Asia or Indonesia or in China or Japan, you will speak that language. You will learn that culture. So our subconscious programming has been done the first 7 years of our lives, and that is predetermined. That's how we're going to think. That's how we're going to interpret and go on with life. The free will, which is a privilege, is the prefrontal cortex, physically in our own brain. Not mind, because mind is like our entire body is mind, is our brain. This is the part that makes us human. Homo erectus, the ones who can like stand up, Homo erectus. When we use our prefrontal cortex, that is free will. As a man, I have to share this scientific fact. As a man, prefrontal cortex, the part that we decide to make decisions consciously and intentionally, if we see something attractive, aka a female, the blood drains from our prefrontal cortex. We become reptile. So, is it life is predetermined or we have free will? Well, guess what? That translates into subconscious behavior or conscious and intentional behavior. The more we think, speak, behave intentionally and consciously, that helps us to evolve more.
Okay, everybody, welcome to Living the Next Chapter podcast, where we bring on amazing authors from around the world. My guest is from around the world. Mario is here with us today. We're going to be talking about his journey as an author. He's got multiple books and a new one coming out, which is exciting. And I want you to meet my new friend, Mario, as we jump into the conversation. So, Mario, welcome to Living the Next Chapter. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm going to have to push a button here and just...
Come on. You have your own buttons? I love this. This is great.
Thank you for the introduction. And I'm actually super stoked to be here. We spoke before, and I think you know by now that I love doing this, and it actually re-energizes me. And I like that, like the next chapter. This is a beautiful way to approach our conversation. So come on, spill it out. Let's do this.
All right. So we connected on Podmatch, which is amazing. A great platform if you're a host of a podcast or if you're a guest, an author, and you want to get on podcast. That's how we connected. So thank you to the team at Podmatch for making this happen, for bringing Mario into my world. It's exciting. I mentioned that you are from around the world. We'll get to where you are right now, but could you tell everybody, Mario, where were you born? Where did you come onto this planet? Where did you start?
Okay, so to be raw and frank about this, originally I came from my mom, but that's beside the point.
Good. Okay, good. You got that figured out. That's good.
Can't believe I just said that. So, I was born and raised in Cairo, Egypt,
Wow.
not that far from the pyramids, about half an hour away from pyramids.
Okay, I got to pause you. What is it
Please.
like to live in the shadow of such an amazing wonder? Like, what is that like?
Do you want me? Do you want me to make it so pretty or be frank
Either
and true?
one. How about both? Give me a little pretty and then give me a little Frank or Mario.
When you have a gnome, however you want to say it, you have a gnome or gnome in the backyard. How often do you look at it?
Right. Yeah. So I live near Niagara Falls and I go by there all the time. I don't even stop and look at it. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. I might have to go there and think about it. But to know that you live near something so spectacular has to have some kind of imprint on you as a child, though.
So yes, I left Egypt in the year 2000 to come to Nashville, Tennessee,
Oh,
or they call
wow.
it Nashville, Tennessee, to the country accent, to simply learn English.
Hmm.
And 7 years later, in the year 2007, I met someone, ex-wife at the time, my ex-wife now, at the time was like fiance, and she wanted to see the pyramids. So we went to Egypt to visit the pyramids for her. And that was the very first time to see the pyramids. And I was like, okay, let's go. And that's when I saw the pyramids. Being
Wow.
frank, too honest.
There you go. Okay. No, they look impressive when you watch. Like, I've never been to Egypt. I would love to go to Egypt. It looks like a beautiful place and some very nice people there as well. But just the idea of how they made that amazing structure, it doesn't make my mind doesn't it doesn't I can't figure that out. How they could build something that perfect and beautiful. Just it's gorgeous.
It's true. It's magnificent. Like one block is as big as this room that you're in,
yeah.
or the room that I'm in, just like one block. And in a very humble and honest way, I can guarantee you that the current Egyptians that occupy Egypt and live in Egypt, they are not the ones that build the pyramids. If they were the ones that build the pyramids, economic standards would be totally different. So I'm on the like offensive conspiracy theory here that might be aliens, because current Egyptians, they trying to figure out a way to go from one day to another. They're trying to figure out life. So I do really think that pyramids building, plus that it took such a long time, something else happened. Something else happened.
Something happened, right?
Something else happened. And, you know, they discovered the new Sphinx. I'm not sure if many people know about Sphinx next to the pyramids, like head of human and body of a lion. They have like water marks underneath it.
Really?
There is something. Yeah, there's like something. This area that is like desert and dry, there was so much water at the time. And it makes sense because you can use water to move these huge blocks.
True. Right.
So again, we're talking 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. If you were to ask me what I ate for dinner last night, I will not remember. And most people do not remember. So we are basically doing our very best, taking the stories that we hear and making the best of it.
Well, I want to leverage your knowledge and your background. I do have listeners in Egypt that listen to the show.
Oh, cool.
So could you give them a greeting, like a hello, something that would make them go sit up and go, oh, Mario's talking to me. Like, can you welcome our listeners from Egypt?
I am really surprised to hear that. I would say مساء الخير يا حبايبي. It's like good afternoon, my awesome people, my lovers, but not lovers like romantic way, but lovers like friendship way, you know. مساء الخير يا حبيبي, like good evening, awesome people.
Nice. So there you go. So they're
You
listening
have
to
no
that.
idea what I could be just like, I could have said like a really
you
bad
could say
word
a
right
really
now,
bad
and
thing.
we
Like,
both
do not
prohibited.
listen. Do not listen to this podcast. Is what you just said.
We
Yeah.
both are like off podcast, pot match. We're
Oh
done.
no, we just got
blocked
kicked out. Oh no. Yeah. No. Thank you, Mario. That's great. Okay, I like to start here.
Please.
Where did your journey as an author begin? Like what something happened
Yeah.
to get you to the part now where you have your fourth book coming out.
Yes.
What was the initial spark for you? Was it a person, a thing? Like, what happened? How did you get here?
Okay. First off, I'm really impressed that you do remember what I told you, that I worked on 3 books out. One of them is available in the US. The 2 other books will come up in the US later. And I'm working on the 4th one, as you mentioned. So, really quick, I'll do my best to make this concise and straight to the point. From really young age, I noticed something that was missing in terms of how people communicate and their dynamics in relationships. And I do really believe that we all are born curious beings. Hence, toddlers, they hurt themselves, they like want to eat things, they like put their fingers or the fork in the what do you call it, the outlet plug, or we're just curious, we just want to well, the thing is, the beautiful thing about curiosity, when it's done in a safe space, it helps us to maintain this curiosity and learn so much. So approximately 2025, 2017, I was told by one of my friends that what I am doing and what I'm researching needs to be shared with the world. Why? Because this is kind of disheartening, honestly, but it's true. Because I write a lot as a researcher, take notes, note down a conversation, a thought I had. Once I filled the notebook, I used to throw it away.
Wow.
Exactly. I was not aware. It's just like, because I feel like I have this infinite fountain of knowledge and experience. And I just always like write every conversation I have, every interaction. So at some point, I will give some credit to my friend Roman. He's from Russia. And when he was exposed to what I do, the look on his face and like eyebrows went up and eyes got so big. It's like, Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot. Why are you throwing this stuff away? WTF, this is a treasure. And he was one of the people that helped me realize that I need to keep track of what's going on. Most of the research I was doing for myself. Whatever experiences I have, whatever conversations or knowledge, it's all in my head and I carried with me all along. Hence, I used to throw away the notebook because, you know what? I already have the knowledge. I have the experience. I'm done. And he told me this information needs to be shared. And because of him, I start to keep track of everything that I'm doing. And hence, I have this treasure of my research. It doesn't have to be written or noted, but up here, that thousands of the conversations and interviews I've had, it's all here. Hence, when I go on like a interview or podcast, I just simply show up. You and I do not have script. We don't have Q&A. You just show up being authentic, speak from your heart genuinely about what we know, and what we don't know, we say we don't know. It's that simple. Very humbling. So I realized that I need to share, produce, and I hope and pray from my heart to empower other people. They might watch this podcast few months from now or few years from now, a word or a sentence you, David, say, or I might say, hopefully it will penetrate their heart and mind, and it helps them to evolve and change. So about 2 years ago, I sat down and I started to basically dictate. I turn on the computer and I start dictating all my thoughts, ideas, what is communication, authenticity, connecting and communicating with empathy, how to resolve conflict, self-care. I just keep dictating. And eventually I take time to edit all that and I start sharing it. And it's really beautiful experience because when we create something authentically and genuinely, it flourished on itself. Many of the podcasts and interviews that I go on, I never really talk about my books or my website, what I do. These all taking care of themselves. They are growing magnificently, and I'm really grateful. I think I mentioned to you that I'm a retired military veteran, and I just do this because I simply enjoy it.
Mm.
And I have to give some credit to my close relationships and my friends who motivate me and inspired me and helped me to see that what I know can be valuable to other people. I'm also a poet.
Mm.
I create poetry as well. And I used to do the same thing, write poetry, then just throw it away. And my friends like, oh my, you cannot do this. You got to keep track of this stuff. I'm like, I feel like I have infinite like fountain of knowledge and youth and like, so anyway, I'll pause here. I give you the lead from
I like
here
it.
on.
Okay, so Maria, we have new authors listening to the show. They're looking for that inspiration. Maybe it doesn't come as easy as it does for you. And they're trying to write, they're trying to learn the craft of writing, and they're looking for some expertise, some suggestions from you to help them as a new author just starting out. Any part that you would any words of wisdom you can give to somebody as a new author?
I guess you can call it wisdom if you wish to. I would not call it advice. I do not have an advice to give. And if I have advice to give, I'm going to take it myself because people who give advices, they do not use. I think you and I are on the same
Right.
channel with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
From my own experiences, I can tell you really from the bottom of my heart that the creative process needs time and space. Do I remember correctly? You're also musician, artist. Is that right?
See, and you said you were happy I remembered. I'm happy you remembered. Yes.
To be frank with you, like, a few podcasts every day and I remember this. I'm proud of myself too.
Yeah. Well done.
I think we touched on this before, but for the sake of this recording and this podcast, when a singer or an artist create artistic piece, a song, lyrics, music, song, the studio needs to be like super quiet and they have the space. And whatever song that we listen to, where there's like amazing, I have some songs that I listen to like over and over. Do you know that song by Let's Go? By who? By who, let's say? By Jackson Gamble. Let's Go. It's like 2 minutes and 7 seconds. I love to play this over and over. Well, guess what? When Jackson Gamble played the song, made the song Let's Go, yes, it's true. Some singers, some musicians can make one take and it's out, but that's rare.
Yeah.
That's less than half a percentage, less than 0.5%. Most artists and singers, they have to practice hundreds of times and not thousands of times to actually produce this final version of the song that seems really attractive to us. This is pretty much how we can approach our inner voice, that it takes time to cultivate. We need time and space to be aware of our inner voice, and that helps us to be grounded and to move forward with our interaction with other people. I'll pause here. I'll give you the mic.
Okay. So what is it about music that resonates with you? Like why music? It could be painting, it could be arts, it could be all kinds of different things, but why music? What speaks to you?
I like that a lot. So, we like to listen to like positive, upbeat music, happy music, loving music, because the energy, the music, and the words are uplifting. Yes, there's some strong language music out there that's like workout music, like get pumping and all.
Yeah.
But most of us are really attracted to words, lyrics, music that get us going. Yeah, sometimes when we feel down, we feel like we need sad music to kind of like, cultivate that feeling. I think that music and tonality and vibration speaks to our soul. And if we think about music, it's literally vibration. Well, guess what? Making words and speaking them is also vibration. Whoever is listening to this and they do not get it or do not believe it, I ask you to do the following. Take your hand, put it on your throat, and say some comment like, I love you.
Yeah.
Do you feel the vibration in your hand?
Yep.
Music is vibration. Voice and sounds are vibration. Well, guess what? Also, I don't know how far you want to take this, but our existence is vibration from quantum level and physics. Every cell in our body is vibrating. Now, the beautiful thing about being a human is we can actually manage and cultivate vibration intentionally. How we think, how we process information, and how we create words and communication style is a vibration. When you have like a really cool song and like it has like a big high bass and you just like turn the music up and turn the bass on and like the speaker boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Or like the whole speaker's like moving, or if the speakers have dust on them, you can see the dust dancing,
Yeah.
The dust is just dust. You want to clean it. It's like, it's like insignificant dust. But guess what? Even the dust is dancing to our vibration. What if we become aware that being a human, that means we are able to create vibrations intentionally?
And what I'm thinking while you're talking, Maria, is that creation, whether it's a book, whether it's art, whether it's music, is bigger than us.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
The same way, let's go back in our conversation, the same way that those beautiful pyramids in Egypt are bigger than us. And almost to the point being mysterious that how did any human ever do this? Right? There's a connection and a correlation between where you came from and what you saw and the creative process, right? Like to write a book, to share your story, to create music, to create vibration, that's bigger than us on our own. So there's something magical happening when we get out there and we start sharing our story, creating and being creative. I think that's it's kind of like the pyramids.
I really like that. That is really true. So I recorded this. I'm actually pretty active on TikTok. I don't know. Can we bring this up? Yeah, sure. We can bring this up. Social media. All social media is the same. So about a week ago, I recorded this on TikTok and it became like kind of huge and it got shared a lot. which basically the point is once we realize, okay, for you, for our listeners, for myself, I have to say this very mindfully and carefully and eloquently because it can be misinterpreted. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I love it. Let's go.
The moment we consciously realize that we are nothing, that gives us the option to be anything that we want.
I like that.
So, about 10 years ago, literally in 2005, it was around September, around my birthday, when I took some time for myself to trying to figure out, am I Egyptian? Am I American? I spent half of my life in the US, half of the first half of my life in Egypt. My English is better than my Egyptian Arabic. And where do I belong? And I realized that if I stop breathing for like 2 minutes, I am gone. I am really nothing. With my breath, I become something. The interesting fact about this is whatever I am or has been cultivated in my life has been imprinted on me from really young age. In a mindful and humble way, this is not to degrade anyone, but we're kind of like born like nothing. We're born like nothing, like babies, you know? And I study psychology, and there are some real cases that are some toddlers and kids that were raised by dogs or monkeys, and they behave just like that. Some parents, this experiment was not done intentionally; it was by accident.
Yeah.
We're like born like nothing, and our brain, our mind, like clean slate, whatever imprint or impression that have on us, that creates the future us. Well, at some point, I don't know whether you're 25 or 30 or 35 or 45, you get to the point where you realize that you're kind of nothing. You know, if you're gone the next minute, well, 100 years from now, most people who know your name, they're going to be gone as well.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful place to start creating something from. So for my own inner dialogue with awareness and consciousness, that I'm aware that I might be nothing. I'll turn into dust and dirt eventually. Yet the impact I'm going to have on people can last for generations. A word, a statement, a thought, experience, a story to be shared with other people, it can be passed down. If anyone out there who might be listening to this and think like, that sounds like a big responsibility. Well, guess what? Jesus was like 2,000 years ago. Buddha was 4,000 years ago. Yoga is more than 10,000 years ago, and we still talk about yoga. So if you might think that my impact or my influence might be insignificant, honestly, it does not matter what you think about it. Just make the influence and let the universe decide.
Right. And that's your legacy then in this world. That's what you leave behind.
So as I'm listening to you, I have a note in front of me, and I love that you use the word legacy. The note says, get ready to create your glorious legacy.
See? Come on. See?
What? Syncing up.
Okay. And I got to do it again. And I'm probably going to do it too often, Mario. But legacy is that thing that lasts long after we're gone. And it becomes a moment, a location, a difference. something noticeable, something you can't ignore. That's legacy. The pyramids, again, I'm going back again. The pyramids, you
Mhm.
cannot ignore those. It's not like you're going to walk by and go, I didn't see those. They're
Sure.
very obvious, right? That's something unique. That's not like anything else around. And it doesn't make sense why it's here, but it's legacy. And the people that or however it got there, they might not have thought about what's going to happen in 2025 as we sit here and talk about that. But they knew they had to make this thing, whoever did this, they knew they had to make this thing for a reason. And the legacy keeps moving forward into the future, long past whatever or whoever created this ever meant it to last. There's a reason why it's there. And we're talking about it today. Did they have any thought of us in the future? No. Right. So as we create in life, as authors, as musicians, as creatives, our legacy is going to go live long after us and have impact into the future.
I like that a lot. And to keep in mind that some historians show that maybe pyramids were a source of energy. We can get to that later. Okay. Creating legacy has two different perspectives, and it's very important to be clear about this. Not to make fun of any specific presidents or people who are in charge. I can go around and do my very best to have my name on every building. And I don't have to say,
Yes.
This is about me. That's about my existence. I want people to I'm creating legacy for my own self.
Right.
That's one side. Another side is creating legacy for other people to grow. I do not matter that much. My story, my stage is over. I am creating something for other people to build on, to grow, to experience, to reflect on, and be something that they want or something bigger than they imagine themselves they could be. So some of us, and especially, it's funny when you think about 90% of human beings who talk about legacy are like men. And yeah, it's a true, yep, absolutely. More than 90% of people who talk about legacy are men. Do you really think women need legacy? They are the ones that gives human existence. Like, really. Really rare when you find women talk about legacy and they want to leave an impact. Or it's well, just really quick, I asked AI a couple of months ago, and it became a really big idea. I asked AI to create the most powerful human being that ever existed, the most compassionate and empowering and energetic being, and AI gave me a picture of a woman, goddess. So I'm not saying AI is correct, but I'm saying something to reflect on. Many people say God, I say goddess. So to be aware of that legacy that we are creating, is it legacy to fulfill my own ego? It's oh, I existed before. My name needs to last. Or the other side, my legacy is I need to empower the future generation. My existence, the chance of me existing is 1 in a freaking 100 billion.
Right. Yeah.
And I want to convey this to the future generation. Neither is wrong. This is not right. This is not wrong. The universe needs both. We need to be aware of one, our childhood impact and upbringing. Number two, that we have a choice. You heard, okay. Oh, this is so exciting. I'm so excited right now. This is so exciting. You can see it. Okay. So There is a huge debate for thousands of years whether life is predetermined
Mm.
or free will and choice. Before I say anything, I want to ask for your input. I'm so excited. I have to calm myself down.
Mm. Wow. Is it always one or the other though? Can it be a blend of the two?
You tell me what you think.
It's interesting because I think that I think we're born with a destiny. We're born with a reason. Again, why the two of us here in this moment having a conversation? Like the odds of this happening, pretty rare that even you and I could talk to each other. Correct? So for two people, one born in Egypt, one born in Canada, to get together and have a conversation like this, it's highly unlikely this would happen on its own. So there's something happened for us to meet each other. So could be just Podmatch. Thank you, Podmatch. But
I was going to say that. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, there's something even more though. Right. I think we were meant to talk to each other in this moment and have this conversation. I don't think this is a mistake. So there is a little bit of destiny happening here, that all this timing and everything aligned for us to meet today and have this conversation. And that somebody's going to listen to this on the day, in the moment they press play. A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, someone's going to listen to this for the first time. So that's also part of destiny. I like that. And then there's also the free will side of it, where I think we have the ability to make choice, but I'm wondering if it's within guardrails. We have choice, but kind of within limits, where we're kind of destined for one thing. There's some freedom to move around, but it's not like we don't have a choice in what's going to happen to us next. I don't know. I'm thinking out loud, processing my thoughts with you in the moment, because this is just all just happening right now. So that's kind of where my take. I'm interested in what you think.
So we're having a stream of consciousness experience right now. And this is a discovery for my research. And it's, for me, it's like mind blowing for me. So, as you said, that is your point of view, and it's not wrong, it's not right. That is your POV. That's how you see it. And what I discovered, people always debate with me between like free will and or everything is predetermined. What I have realized, which is really profound for me and other people that I share that with, these two categories, things are predetermined or we have a free will, is actually aligns with our subconscious and conscious mind. What I mean by that is, I believe I shared this with you before, over 20 years ago, when I came across this book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. The first 7 years of our lives determines and decides more than 90% of our future. One of the reasons why you and I speak the language, because our environment help us to cultivate that. If you were born in Africa or in Asia or Indonesia or in China or Japan, you will speak that language. You will learn that culture. So our subconscious programming has been done the first 7 years of our lives, and that is predetermined. That's how we're going to think. That's how we're going to interpret and go on with life. The free will, which is a privilege, is the prefrontal cortex, physically in our own brain, not mind, because mind is like our entire body is mind, is our brain. This is the part that makes us human. Homo erectus, the ones who can stand up, Homo erectus. When we use our prefrontal cortex, that is free will. as a man, I have to share this scientific fact. As a man, prefrontal cortex, the part that we decide to make decisions consciously and intentionally, if we see something attractive, aka a female,
Mhm.
the blood drains from our prefrontal cortex.
Hmm.
We become reptile.
Yep.
So, is it life is predetermined or we have free will? Well, guess what? That translates into subconscious behavior or conscious and intentional behavior. The more we think, speak, behave intentionally and consciously, that helps us to evolve more.
Well, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I wonder if these guys are going to go deep in their conversation, I think we have definitely gone deep. I love this. This is really interesting. I love where we're going with this. Now, for you as an author, let's tie it back to your writing. Is this kind of where you go as an author? Is this where you like to write? Is this what you like to write about? As a reader, if I pick up one of your books, is this kind of the flavor of where you're going to lead us in your books?
Honestly, no.
Okay, well, this is interesting. I want to talk about that then.
Yeah. So in my writing, I write a nonfiction.
Okay.
I think many people out there like facts. They like nonfiction, straightforward knowledge. I'm actually aiming for the ones who are like seeking. In my books, I don't have any stories. I avoid stories, which is, I know stories like the most powerful way to convey information, yet I'm avoiding this. Why? Because I do not want to color knowledge and experiences with my own flavor. I like to give raw information for people, and it's up to them what to do with it. For example, my first book, Empowering Communication Unleashed, I talk a lot about what is communication, what is empowering communication, how to resolve conflict, communication and self-care, how to communicate with empathy, with compassion, with open mind, to be aware of the conclusion that we draw. I share cold hard facts, nonfiction, in my books. When people have conversations with me, I start sharing stories and experiences because honestly, I do believe, and it's probably based on my own perception, on my own experiences. When I read a book, I want to get knowledge. I want something that would help me to move forward today and the next day. Yes, we all attracted to stories and experiences to learn from one another, but some of us are just they want to get the juices of the knowledge. And that is, it's funny I say this because like my first book was like 400 pages. That's like a lot of juices, no stories. Yeah, based on my team and my research, I'm making my books like a little bit smaller. So my third book is about 200 pages. The Listener, Learning by Osmosis Universe is the true university. Yeah, the way I show up in interviews and podcast is a way to add colors to what I do. When people hold my book in their hand or even ebook on an iPad or other devices, they will be getting truth and facts and actionable steps to help them to evolve and learn more. Yeah.
So talk
That's
a
not
little
what
bit
you
about.
expected, David.
No, that's good. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Talk a little bit about what's coming up in your newest book, Can you give us some concept of what we're going to expect? Here we go.
I'm so excited when you ask this. So excited. I'm like,
Come on.
what can I do? Like, I'm so excited. There's so much happening. Like, um, David, I get to the point in my life where I realize that I am not going to live long enough to do everything that I want to do. And I can tell that you feel this statement. And I say this with joy and also sadness a little bit because being present is a miracle. To exist is a miracle. And when we get to choose how to influence other human beings, especially in a positive and empowering way, that's another miracle. So, to respond to your question, my fourth book that I'm working on right now, it's called The Little Green Book. And it's literally about 104 seeds of wisdom and thoughts from the east to the west. I'm really grateful that I had the chance to travel to four different continents with different languages and cultures, and I'm doing my very best to harness all this in a pocket-size book, palm size, 4 by 6 inches, and it's a little green book, Seeds of Wisdom. The second thing I'm working on is between April and July, I will be traveling North Africa and the Middle East. There are so many events that are scheduled for me to be a keynote speaker, book signing events. And to be really frank with you, as I'm sharing all this, I'm like, I don't know who I'm talking about. Like it's some miracle that this is happening with me and for me because I just enjoy what I do and I love to just show up and do the best that I can. And that turns out to be superpower, David.
Wow. When you talk about the seeds for book 4, there's a quote that I love to share with people.
I love quotes.
Okay.
Please
You love
tell
quotes?
me. I love quotes.
It's about an apple. Okay. You can count the number of seeds in an apple, but you can't count the number of apples in a seed. The unlimited potential. You can't count how many apples one seed can produce in its lifetime. Right? It's immeasurable. The potential. But you can count the number of seeds in an apple. I think we spend a lot of our time counting up what we think is our potential. And here I've got 7 seeds from this apple. These are my 7 gifts or my 7 talents or my 7 abilities. Take any one of those. And inside that seed, there's unlimited potential to have impact, right? And you can't measure it because even after you're gone, people are still talking about your pyramid and you're not even here anymore. People are still talking about your books and how you live your life and who you impact. You can't measure that, right? In podcasting, the way I look at it, if somebody listened to this podcast, Mario, and then went home and picked a new path in life, or treated their partner better, or treated their children better, or were kinder to themselves because of something that you said on this podcast, that's a seed. I can look at my information and see that somebody listened to my podcast in Egypt. But what happened with the information that they heard? Did they change their opinion, or did they change their view of life? Did they pick a new path because of something that you and I talked about in this moment? Can you measure that? No. You can't measure that kind of impact. And let's go back again to the pyramids. when they built the pyramids, were they thinking about impact?
It's a wonderful question. I think they were just thinking about energy, but yeah.
Right? Would they be thinking about two guys on a podcast in 2025 using that as an illustration about the potential of one seed? No, they didn't have any concept of that in 2020 back then, but you and I be doing this right now. So I'm just saying we have unlimited potential. I think the one thing that I find through this podcast is I'm trying to encourage authors and writers and creative people to unleash what that story is. And anybody that says, well, who's going to listen to me? Like, I'm just one human. I only know what I know, but you're an expert in everything that you know because you've lived it. Right? And I can't write your book and you can't write my book. So share your story.
For anyone who might think who is going to listen to my story or who's gonna find my thoughts interesting, well, I have a golden nugget for you. Whoever is listening to this in the future, you need to enjoy your own story, your own nugget of wisdom. The more we listen to ourselves and the more we appreciate ourselves and the more we become aware of the impact we have on our own future, automatically and subconsciously allows other people to do the same. So the approach of like, how I'm going to impact people, how I'm going to change their mind, how can I be more attractive to other listeners and make them tuned in. Well, guess what? Learning to tune in with yourself is the bedrock of growth and influence. It is so important. We often look on the outside, what kind of impact I can cause on the outside, what influence is going to make. Kindly in a humble way, I ask you to ask the same questions, to reflect on your own self, present and future. Because when we live intentionally and create healthy value for our present self and future self, well, guess what? When you walk down the street and you see some kind of diamond at the display, don't you like sometimes stop and pause and go like, wow, this is such a beautiful diamond.
Mm-hmm.
You are a diamond and you need to cultivate your own diamond. And other people pass by and go like, this is a very interesting diamond. I would like to learn more about this. You become a North Star for some people. And as much as it is a responsibility, it's also a privilege to help and guide one another. Whatever we are creating, I do not have, David, I do not have any kids of my own. I do not have children or grandchildren that I know of. That's not the point. But how we live our lives actually create a path for the future generation.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think that we are creating legacy, not for ourselves, like, oh, people will say my name like 10, 20, 50 years from now. Think about legacy that empowers us as humans. I hope that makes sense.
When you're saying diamond, the thing that came to my mind is own your shine.
I love that.
Own it.
Oh my God. I love that so much because I know, David, seriously, I love this so much because I have some people in my life who shine like a bright diamond, yet they are they're afraid to shine too much that will make other people feel bad or down.
Mhm. Yeah, there's it comes to mind because I've heard it in the past, but there's a biblical reference that says something along the lines of a city on a hill can't be hidden, right? At
Mm.
night, the lights of the city, you will see it from a distance, right? You can't hide that. So own your shine, display it, don't hide it, don't try to cover it up, and then use whatever your creative outlet is, writing, music, whatever it is, telling your story, and let your shine come out and own it. Like this is something that belongs to you.
David, how many people in your life that like whenever they do something so simple, they go like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry I said that. Oh, I'm sorry I
Mhm.
behaved this way. I'm like sorry. Like we were programmed in a such way from really young age to not to become too aware of our inner diamond. And if you sometimes if you the most successful like singers and artists are the ones who have parents where the parents want their kids to shine more than themselves.
Mhm.
True? Yep, absolutely.
That's legacy.
Yep. Parents who like somewhat narcissistic, they're
Yeah.
just like putting down their kids or like, oh, you not doing enough, you're just that's not good enough. They dim
Right.
their own light.
Mario, I could talk to you for the rest of the day. You've already done multiple podcasts today over other shows. I love talking to you. I just find you very inspiring. I find you to be very gentle. You give people space to think. You do create a very safe place for me and for the listeners. So I want people to connect with you about that then, because I want them to support you in your new book coming out. I want people to be able to see where you're going to be speaking for the chance to maybe meet you in person and sit in a seat and listen to you speak. I just want people to be able to connect with you. So I like to wrap up near the end here with where do we go? Right. To follow your journey, because I think you have a lot to offer this world. And the more people that we can put in front of you, I think the more your diamond is going to shine. So where do we go to connect with all things Mario? Where do we go?
As I'm listening to you, I'm like super excited. Just to be clear, the reason why I have so much to offer because so many other people offered me plenty of stories and experiences, and I harness those experiences and I share with other people. Now, I'm gonna be comical for a second here, but if anyone's trying to find me where I am, well, guess what? I am everywhere.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. The moment you go on like Google or whatever, ask Jeff, whatever website that you use, and type MarioWissa.com, Mario MARIWISSA, all my social media and all my books will come up. In the meantime, my amazing website that my team put together about 6 months ago, it's so simple, MarioWissa.com, MARIOWISSA.com. And I'm actually really proud of the work that we are doing because on the website, you can actually take a free assessment to learn about your communication style. When you hover over Get Empowered, you can take free assessment online. And I do not get this information. It's only for you. I do not get your contacts, information, your test results, nothing. It's only for you. 100%. God, I feel like my whole life is just I'm living for other people because I just learned how to take care of myself and I'm satisfied with it. Another option is you can actually sign up to get free chapters of my books, of all three books, when you hover over Get Empowered, and I guess it's Valentine time. So my staff, my team made like for Valentine Day, you can like sign up and get free chapters of all my 3 books: Empowering Communication Unleashed, The Most Powerful Voice You'll Ever Hear Is Your Own. The second book is 180-Degree You in 180 Days for Personal and Professional. And the third book is The Listener, Learning by Osmosis. Universe is the true university. And finally, and probably the most exciting part is I am, for the next 6 months, I am offering free sessions 101 for 30 minutes to connect people and help them when it comes to, I see communication is like air, it's everywhere. So whether it's a career, relationship, or understanding personal growth, let's connect, let's talk about it. And I'm giving you 30 minutes free to connect with me on my website, mariowissa.com. Thank you, David.
Again, anyone listening and you're like, I want to talk to this gentleman, please reach out. You will have an amazing conversation. You will see what I'm seeing right now on my screen. A person that is here to serve, a person that cares to hear your story and wants to gently guide you and help you unpack maybe some of the things that are keeping you from letting your diamond shine. So, Mario, we have a lot of seeds to plant. Thank you for being part of this. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate the privilege of being here. Thank you.
It's a great conversation. Everyone, please go check out the links in the show notes. Go, and when you buy Mario's books, I'm asking you to please leave an amazing review of the books where you purchase the book so that more people will read your comments and understand why this book is something they need in their life. So your words will help Mario to reach even more people and expand. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for leaving great reviews. Mario, thank you for being here on the show. Glad to have you here.
It's a privilege. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. Glad to have you here. I just want to let you know that you can always find out what we're doing live in the moment by going to our YouTube channel. Head over to livingthenextchapter.com. There'll be a link right there. Head over to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things that all the YouTubers love to say. And in our YouTube channel, a couple things. You're going to get advanced listens. You're going to get the episodes that we're working on in real time. So we record and post daily on our YouTube channel. I'd love for you to give us a follow over there. As well, we're making playlists. We have over 500 episodes. So finding the right episode for you, we're trying to group things into playlists. So if you like children's books, if you like business, you like historical fiction, we're grouping our authors together to make it a little easier for you to find your favorite next author. So head over to livingthenextchapter.com. And again, I'd love to hear from you. Hearing from the listeners of the show is great. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of the podcast family. And I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time and your listen. Take care.